while there's certainly sexuality to your music and there's a sexual aspect to what you do visually, it's not, and this is I think maybe what we've talked about the gay guys now, the straight male audience may, and I don't know what your take on their reaction to you generally is, but you don't present, it's not a coquettish kind of sexuality. You don't seem to ever want to,
campy.
Yeah, or even flirty particularly, right?
No, it's a little bit more bossy.
Yeah, exactly. And can you, is it hard to gauge whether their takeaway from that is like they're scared of you or intimidated, or some of them into it?
I'm still latching on to the fact that people think I'm sexy because this is like a new thing for me.
Yeah.
Because for the first year of my career, everybody called me a tranny robot and thought that I had a little penis.
Well, you told Jonathan Ross you had a big donkey dick. So.
I did tell him. Well, yes, I did.
I'm just quoting you. I'm not.
Well, I
it's
did
not my
tell him
words.
that. And so now these things, my aesthetic, my way of dressing, my live performances, the way I speak and carry myself, they're now transitioning from this sort of weird place into a mainstream place where, kind of like regular guys are like, they think I'm sexy, and I'm sort of like, well, you don't have long hair and stink, which is what most of the guys that like me are like. So I guess I'm a little. When I think I said this once before, I think I've changed a little bit what people think is sexy about me in particular. A year ago, my cone head wasn't sexy, but now sometimes when I wear it, I get hit on.
So getting that reaction from guys more now, that doesn't make you want to soften up what you do in terms of your look?
I don't create based on other people's reactions. I create on impulse and vision and creative energy with my partners. My music, I genuinely have like religious visions. Like as I'm falling asleep, a lot it happens. I'm just falling asleep, and I've learned that my best work happens when I consistently execute every vision and I don't allow any to go away. So if I let one drop, it sort of like fucks with my creative flow. So I have to write everyone down, and I tell Matt every creative thought that comes into my head, I tell Matthew, and then it becomes a dress or a pair of sunglasses, or I tell Matt and he says, "Oh, that sounds great," and then I go write a song and I send it to everybody and they all freak out and "Oh, that's the re-release record," and it's a series of impulses. I don't say, "Ooh, they say I'm like this, so I think I'll change my music." Like fuck that, it's not real.
Right. You we were talking about relationships before and your audience. There's a song, I believe a new song called Future Love, right? And I think the other night you had a comment about Prop 8 in California, and is that sort of the lyric of it? I haven't heard the song yet, I just know it exists. Is it sort of address that kind of thing?
The song's about, it's about a lot of different things, but the song is most simply about love and art and the dream of the future. And that's why I wear the lovely Hussein Chilean bubble dress in the show with the bubble piano. A bubble is this simple, very fragile, easy to understand, beautiful, dreamlike thing that I believe represents this future love. And the whole Prop 8 California event for me is it's a time for us all to imagine a world where we can all, in the future, love more harmoniously and more equally. And I really feel that record for me was, I didn't even record it. I didn't want to sell it. I just wanted to play it live in some sort of bubble installation because I believed it would change the atmosphere in the room, and I thought that it might speak to them, and I thought that leading up to the Prop 8 hearing that it might change things, and it didn't. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't keep trying. I mean, the song's also about dildos, but it's like, it's about
right.
Lots of future love, biological man. It's kind of a play on plasticity and synthetics and dreams, and there's a lot of different layers in my songs. But most simply, like I said, it's about love and art, togetherness, and the dream of that in the future.
Not too long ago, I read a really nice piece about you by Sacha Frere Jones in the New Yorker, and he's one of the most respected music sort of critics and writers in this country. And it's interesting because critically, you've fared pretty well, I think. And I wonder whether that matters to you, because I know we talk a lot about art and how it's important to create art. On the other hand, you say, I celebrate pop music, and I make no apologies for being a pop music artist. At the end of the day, does being taken sort of seriously by the critical community, does it matter?
Well, I think it does to the critical community that you are referring to, because I believe that I know who you're referring to, and
music journalists.
Well, music journalists, but the real music journalists, and
not just people writing pop, sort of gossipy pop
exactly.
Songs.
So, yes.
Yeah.
And in the fashion world, like, if I'm on the worst dressed list and like Us Weekly, I really couldn't fucking care less. But if Karl Lagerfeld makes a statement that he thinks I'm, an ugly hag, I would be upset.
Right.
It's Karl Lagerfeld. But for me, that is where we put our focus in the house and on the creative team. We shot with Testino today.
Amazing.
We're doing something right. I shot with David LaChapelle. He's my good friend now. I'm doing something right. I could go on and on about
Grammys. Would that matter to you? Like, I know that you had a nomination this year, but if the album or Best New Artist or any of that would that matter to you, or are you fine without that kind of validation?
It would matter. It wouldn't not matter. But if it didn't happen, I wouldn't stop making music, and it wouldn't necessarily make me say I did something wrong and I have to fix what I did so that next year I get a Grammy. It's that I genuinely was moved to tears today when I took those glasses off my face, the circuit glasses that Dada built, and I looked into the monitor and I saw the photograph that Testino took, and I cried, and I said, fuck, look at that fucking photograph. Like, we did that. That was something that we projected from our souls years ago, and now, like, it's
a reality.
It's real.
Yeah, that's awesome. Well, my final suggestion about the Grammys is they love to pair sort of veteran icons and new artists, and I'm telling you, Bowie doing Fame and you doing The Fame, or he could do Let's Dance and Just Dance.
Right.
Either one works.
Well,
so
I'm trying to think of what.
Is there anyone else you'd want to?
No, I love Bowie. I listened to Aladdin Sane is my favorite Bowie records. Maybe we would do something from that.
For sure. I
would play that weird piano. That piano is sick on that record. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much. I want to get you together with Nicola and Matthew as well, but this has been great. It's been great to finally meet you.
Wow, nice to meet you. Thanks.